Ladies and gentlemen, Top Deck Muscle episode number 10. We've got someone special in the building today. So, a lot of people don't even get close to reaching the elite level of their chosen field. And this guy has spent over 16 years at the top, over 221 AFL games for the Suns and the Port Power. We got Charlie Dixon in the house today, mate. Welcome.
All right, thanks for having me, lads.
Welcome.
Cheers,
Excited to have you, man.
Thank you.
It's going to be a great chat today, man. We want to learn a lot about you. And for our listeners out there, it doesn't matter if you're a mum, a dad, a bodybuilder, a sport player. The way we want to take this combo today is so that everyone can have some valuable takeaways. With a guy like this, they're a wealth of knowledge. And I think we'll kick it off straight away, mate, with how you got into this, the background story. What started footy for you? Were you the sort of kid that sort of came out kicking?
No, not at all, really. I wanted to play basketball. It was mainly my brother who loved footy. I like that. The only sport I loved playing and still sort of love playing was basketball. It was the game I looked forward to the most. And then I sort of dabbled in footy here and there. I didn't really like it that much. And my brother loved it. And then sort of basketball wasn't really much of a sort of pathway there. And so then I sort of fell into footy.
Nice. With your brother, just on that, what level did he reach with the footy side of things?
He reached like the sample level in Brisbane. So, but he went a year after his draft year. So I think if he had gone his year that he was when he could have been drafted as like a 17, 18-year-old when I did, I think he would have got picked up.
Was he older than you?
He was 2 years older. He was he's about 6'2", and like he was fast. Very skilled. He's a better footballer than I ever was. I was just tall and I was able. So.
What are you? You're 6'6", are you?
About 6'8".
6'8",
I think.
Man. I didn't want to shave off 2 inches. Every 2 inches counts, man.
Shrunk a little bit now, I think. Just my body's got a fair bit.
What does the Instagram profile say? 7'2"?
7'2", exactly. That's an NBA sort of rule like that on the basketballs, how tall they are. They sort of, when they brought them back, they all come down a couple of inches. But brother, he was always better footballer than I was. He didn't quite make it to sort of the AFL, but still a very good football. I'm actually going up to Cairns again this year to play a game with him at our old football club in Cairns Saints. So
the reason I asked that, I've got 2 boys, and I'm already thinking about this. The younger one, obviously, he's probably going to get a little bit of a rough and rumble from Banks as they grow up together, and it's often you do see. The younger one becomes a bit more resilient, often wants to, his number one goal is to beat the older brother. So,
sure. And Banks has got it pretty packed. He calls me Wami.
Yes. So you are now his uncle. Well, probably he's going to start calling you dad soon as well, I think. So you realised that obviously when you were younger, basketball was the go-to, but you had a talent for footy.
Yeah, I think, I just basically sort of fell into it, I guess. And and like you said, with the older brother, like you always want to beat them and like look up to them sort of flat out. And I put down my career to my brother and my parents as well, because he never let me win at anything, and I was always chasing him and all that sort of stuff. My parents used to sit there and watch. So we'd have a basketball hoop down the back, and so we'd always sort of battled, and we were super close now, it sort of was just basically a progression, and I played soccer at a young age, and then basketball, and I think it gave me some pretty good skills going into football with the anticipation you need from basketball and soccer, and it's funny, like I get a lot of sort of parents asking me like, what should my kid do if he wants to play AFL? I'm like, don't play AFL.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting point, because I think about this as well, and I think if you were to try and give your kid the best opportunity to become skilled at a number of different things, I think maybe you got like your gymnastics, there's a lot of coordination, strength, like athleticism and that. Even your nippers, which is like surf lifesaving. So it's interesting you say that. Really interesting.
So we swam, went to swimming lessons and stuff like that. And then we were always doing stuff, rode bikes and always outside. And we grew up in the best time, I guess, because there wasn't any social media, and we were able to, and we had no choice but to get out of the house, So, Yeah, I believe that, like, I mean, you look at some of the basketballers around that are still in the AFL at the moment, and I think they have some of the best awareness around them, around play, around where the position is and or what's going on around them. And I think it put me in a good stead, and I was able to sort of just progress my game from there. I was like 6'6" when I first like moved to Brisbane, or something, or 6'6", 6'7", around 97 kilos. So I was
at what age was that?
Like 17.
Yeah. 17.
17, yeah. So when I moved away from home, I just turned 17, and I moved to Brisbane and lived with my brother and his now wife and 2 other housemates, and we played for Redland Bombers. And and I worked and trained 5 days a week. And I was only 17, so I wasn't drinking, wasn't doing anything, and that was still in my life. And I was a carpenter at the time. I did a school-based apprenticeship.
Wow. So physical job as well.
Yeah. And I worked for this company that I lived in Redland Bay, and then I worked out at Ipswich. And I started at 6. We had a half-hour break at 10 and went to 10:30, and then we finished at 5.
Wow.
And then I used to have I'd be like, no, I've got to get to training at 5, so I'd have to leave at 4. Yep. So that was like the only good thing I had to look forward to, was I could leave earlier than everyone else, and then go and train and then go to bed and then do it all up again. So I was getting up like 4 o'clock as a 17-year-old and going to work for these slave.
Man, 4 a.m. as a 17-year-old.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But, like, I mean, I just didn't know what else to do. I ran out of fuel, like, maybe once or twice a month.
Yep. You recover different back then, don't you?
But, like, I was just like, and, like, I look at it now and I'm like, what was it? Like, all my mates are back home having, 18th birthdays and all that sort of stuff, and then I was just at home. I was just, like, doing nothing. And then on the weekends, brothers and housemate and that, they'd all go out drinking, and I'd go and pick them up. They'd drink me.
No way.
They're like, come get us.
And this was before Uber, so you weren't even making a profit.
No, exactly. I had a VT wagon, and so I'd load everyone up in the wagon, and then I'd bring them home, and then they'd carry on, and I'd go back to bed.
Mate, so a lot of sacrifice is what I'm hearing.
That's a lot, yeah.
Especially at that age. I think when you're at that age where you're forming an identity, you're finding your way in the world, sacrifice seems more impactful at that age, I believe. Like now, if you or I or any one of us had to make a sacrifice, we could understand and conceptualize the, maybe 1 step back, 10 steps forward. But at that age, you feel like you can be missing out a lot.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you were though?
No, well, like I didn't know.
Yeah.
And like I was like, all right, well, this is what I'm doing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I didn't like what I was doing, like where I was working and stuff like that. They were a horrible organisation when they just turned over apprentices, and they paid like an extra $2 an hour, and but I look at it now, I'm like, why did I stay? And it's just like, well, lucky I did, because I ended up where I am.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, I didn't know anything else.
Yep.
I mean, I'd like used to, call my parents balling because I was on the side of the freeway with no fuel.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, and they'd be like, well, we don't know what to do either.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So would you say some of those harder moments when you were obviously trying to make your way into the top level of the game have shaped you to who you are today, and maybe carried over into your AFL career as well? Yeah,
I think so. I mean, like I've always, like I sort of built my my career off being a competitor, and that's sort of like what I guess my brother sort of instilled in me, and that I was just I wasn't the most skillful or anything like that, but I just competed and I showed up and I willed myself to the next contest and try to do everything I can, try and help my team. And yeah, there's always those little things. And plus I had everyone tell me I was going to be no good. So I just kept, and I just.
It's a great fuel to the fire.
It is. And that is. And we'll get to sort of like, and then what it does to you, sort of throughout your career as well, and when you're at the end of your career and what that does to you as well. So, but it definitely played a role in like what like I had this sort of no quit sort of mentality of things going on that like that were just part of my life, I guess, and then you just show up and just keep going and keep moving forward, I guess. That was, and like I said, there was, and I suppose it was easier back then because there was nothing else like to compare to. Like now we compare ourselves to everyone and anything that's going on. So
social media
and less distractions back then.
Less distractions back then. It's like I remember. It's funny because like I had a phone. I didn't talk to anyone. My phone bill ran out because I couldn't pay it, and then I was just like, oh, well, I don't ring anyone anyway. So I was just like,
So
well,
what
I
do?
don't ring,
Yeah,
I don't
you
text
snake.
anyone.
Oh, I was
Snake.
going to say, Nokia 3310.
And polyphonic ringtones.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, exactly. I remember
the songs.
Yeah, I had like a little song on it, and like my mum and dad would ring me.
Yeah.
That was it. Like that was all. And like I was like, I'd have to like I can't I'd have to put money on my phone if I ran out of fuel or whatever like that. So that was it. But like I didn't talk to anyone.
That's crazy. It's
So,
like
like,
so many distractions now. Like
Yeah.
it shows the power
Yeah.
of focus as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I do feel for the younger generation
Yeah.
because imagine if we had smartphones in high school, how
That-
distracted
nah,
we would be. Seriously.
honestly, though, that's a big thing. So, like, process going back to 2010, like being drafted for the Gold Coast Suns.
Yeah.
Like, how did that feel? Like, with everything coming together.
Yeah, it was pretty cool because like like I said, I was in Brisbane for 2008. We got picked up I got picked up at the end of 2008
Yeah.
from Gold Coast because we started before like it was even a football club.
Yeah.
So like because it was a brand new football club, and the first 3 years I was with them was TAC Cup in 2009, and then VFL in 2010, and then AFL in 2011. But and like because my parents and that knew like that I was sort of struggling to get to work and all this sort of stuff, and it was just playing because I was playing state footy as well as local footy. I was training 5 days a week, and that was all I was doing. So when they came to in like September and to sign with them, the Gold Coast, Dad like negotiated them to stretch the contract over like the next.
On your dad.
Yeah.
Good on your dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Like from September to like instead of being 12 months, it was like 15 months.
Oh, sick,
15
yeah.
or 16 months or whatever it is. So, and then that was just like a relief to like have that. And then I worked for Queensland AFL as well.
Oh,
So
wow.
like I went and did junior football stuff and all that sort of
Wow.
so, which was a big relief. And then basically end of like say November, December, we started training with basically a Gold Coast academy of young blokes. And then it sort of just grew from there.
Being a newer club, were a lot of the athletes similar to yourself? Were there a lot of rookies, or did you still have some big guns on the team?
No, like in those first year, it was just the Queensland young kids who were around the state, basically the under 18 state team, or the kids who are around Gold Coast and Brisbane. So or mainly Gold Coast. So yeah, mainly it was just the local talent and then a few players like myself, and then like there was Zach Smith, who was like a soccer player who was like taller than me, and then he was playing a bit of footy in state footy as well.
Yep.
So then basically it was like stateside, and then we went and played all the Victorians in the TAC Cup.
Yep.
So yeah, but it was pretty wild experience. Like you look back on it, and like as a professional football club it was, but we were still under 18s,
Yeah.
and we'll run around in cotton singlets
That's-
with ironed on GC logos.
No way.
And then so like you'd warm up in Gold Coast, and
Yeah.
like so you'd be dripping wet,
Yeah.
and then they'd just say, take it off and jam that in the back, so you'd have like a bib
That's
for
crazy, yeah.
shirts versus
Yeah.
V skins, and played our first game, got drummed. And they're like, oh, well, at least you guys look good. You're all really tan and everything like that. So it was, but it was, it's definitely a different experience.
What was your first AFL game? Who did you guys play?
We played Carlton at the Gabba. So we didn't really have, because our home ground, Metricon Stadium, or I don't even know what it's called anymore, but we didn't have that finished yet. So we played our first game against Carlton at the Gabba. Yeah. And
I'm assuming maybe a loss.
yeah, we lost. Yeah. So I think it was about 50 or 60 point loss.
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah. I
Not
think-
100.
No, not 100. So it was all right. I kicked the first goal for
Did
the
ya?
Saints. Yeah. So
Nice,
yeah,
man.
little bit of history there, but and I think I
You deserve a plaque for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, somewhat.
Get this man a sculpture out front of the stadium. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I ended up kicking two goals or something like that.
Good on
Oh,
you.
wow.
But
That's
yeah,
good.
and I remember I like going into my first game. I was like, it's just another game. I don't,
Yeah.
And I played half decent, but it was my next game that I was like
Yeah.
extremely nervous. I was like, I've got to do the same thing again.
So,
You
like,
know?
getting into a bit of the mindset part of things, right? Obviously, you've had a big career
Yeah.
as well. And when being drafted, you would have had people that were good and all of that. But what separates, like, people that are good versus people that actually make it?
Yeah. Well, that's that sort of old saying, like hard work beats talent every time. And
Yeah.
but you got to have talent to get to, to get to the start line, I guess, really. But then the hard work gets you the rest of the way, I suppose. And like I said, with like, you know, people sort of saying, you know, I wouldn't do anything or like I wouldn't be any good. And like the club would draft sort of my position a lot. So there was a lot of young blokes coming in and
centre half forward,
full forward, ruckman, stuff like that, and where I played, and then they shift me down back, and I played a year down back, and stuff like that, and then but yeah, I always took that pretty personally, and it's like, all right, well, they don't actually believe in me or have the faith in me that I'll be able to do this, and plus I had, you know, some injury issues, my body, I'm hypermobile, so you know, like. I had a lot of ankle injuries and knees and stuff like that. But, I always sort of took it a bit personal that, like, they'd try and, you know, replace me and not really have any and that drove me, I guess, not having any faith in me. And then I was able to, sort of forge a career out of that with a bit of a chip on my shoulder, I guess.
I think we'll just touch on that point that Charlie said there. I think that's a really good one for the listeners out there is, it's really important to find the fuel you've got available to you.
True.
And I know we get preached a lot nowadays about positivity and everything, but sometimes, man, to get you out of the trenches, like a little bit of fire in the belly does not hurt. Like I was the same in my bodybuilding career as well. Like I was the smaller guy. I could come in really lean, but people would sort of say to me, "You'll never get any bigger." And you remember those things during your hard training sessions. Like when the going gets tough, you need to rely upon something to pull you through. And I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that. If you do have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, use it to your advantage. So that's a really good point there.
Yeah. No, and that's sort of, I mean, I suppose I built my career off, you know, people saying that I couldn't do things and tried to, prove them wrong, I guess. But it was more... I look at it now, so I wasn't really trying to prove them wrong. I was trying to prove to myself as well that I could do this and that I do deserve to be where I am. And you do have like a little bit of imposter syndrome and stuff like that.
I think we all do.
In anything we do, I think. And so I just, tried to do everything I could. And I mean, and then like you also have like regrets and some things that you sort of wish you hadn't have done and like probably burn the candle at both ends and sometimes living on the Gold Coast as a young 18
let's rewind the clock, mate. If you were to start again at like 18 up there, what would you do differently?
It's hard to say because I really enjoyed myself up there, probably a little bit too much, but
let's go down that path. Don't worry, none of the coaches are listening.
I don't know if I can say too much, but no, it is like I'd probably like I said, like I sort of, and it relates to sort of now why I sort of don't drink as much, or I'm not drinking at the moment. It's like I'm either on or off, and and I love having a good time, and probably had a good time. Got myself into too much of a good time. Sometimes I got myself into trouble and staying out past curfews and all that sort of stuff. And
so that is a legit thing. You guys have curfews.
The Gold like they try to put a lot of stuff on us. And
and you're young, like you want to live your life too as well.
Single. On the Gold Coast, got a bit of coin, you know, like you're trying to, you know.
And you're an icon, mate. Like I never had this for me. No one would come up to me in a club and ask if I'm a footy player.
But like that was a good thing about Gold Coast. No one knew who we were because it's a predominantly NRL up there. So we could go out and carry on and no one would even bat an eyelid and say like, oh, that bloke's tall, that'd be about it, you know, but you come down here, I moved down here and I'd be out at the pub on a Sunday night after a game or whatever, like having a couple of beers. Yeah, at the most. And and then the club would get messages from people saying, I saw Charlie Dixon out on a Sunday or even during the week having a beer.
Really?
And then they'd come back to us and I'd be like, the hell is this? I was just like, I had 2 beers over here. Well, it's not even that. It's just fans like wanting us to be better and wanting us to win, but it's like it's not their business. It's
exactly.
Like how many times? Like, all right, well, when you finish work, I'm going to follow you home and I'm going to go see how many beers you have at home.
Seriously,
so, you had 12 beers sitting on the couch. So now you're going to go to work. You're probably still pissed, mate. But no, like and I mean, I wouldn't change. I'd change a few decisions that like. I'd sort of, a few things that I did as a young bloke and you're learning and stuff like that and going out and drinking and carrying on and stuff like that, yeah, 100% you change some of those things. But, I mean, what can't do it now.
You learn from it too, though.
Exactly.
So
Hindsight's
that's a great
2020.
thing,
But, I could have been more professional as well, and it took me – and like I've had conversations with young blokes coming in, and I can see sort of similar things they're doing and saying, look, this took me too long to work out what it takes to actually be a good footballer and be a good person as well. And I don't want to see you take as long as it took me. So that's what I wish. I wish I had someone come and clip me over the ears. That wasn't my dad or maybe a coach. I had Kenny. He, like you guys met, he sort of trains here. He clipped me because I had 1 year on the Gold Coast with him.
So he was up there as well.
He was up there, So I had one, and like that's the reason I moved down here was because of him.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he clipped me and my best mate once, a few times actually, but like he goes, you got no idea, you're a big idiot, like running around thinking you're all this and all that, and he said, you've got no idea, he's like, you got a reality check coming, and I did.
You need those people in your life that will check you.
Yeah, exactly, but you're still a young bloke and you're like, you're bulletproof, you know? Like,
it's like someone saying to you, pizza doesn't taste good. If you've never had pizza, sometimes you got to experience it yourself.
Exactly.
And like you said, hindsight's a beautiful thing as well.
It is.
You've got conflicting views where you're thrown into the limelight.
Yeah.
You've become a bit of a celebrity, plus you're still finding your feet. You're a young adult. You're a young male. So the choices and the decisions you're having to make on a weekly basis will be tough. So with that, I'm curious, do you guys have policies, I don't know how much you can say during season, of like you're not allowed to drink, or is there a certain amount you're allowed to drink?
Yeah, so I've got to try and remember it. It was like off so 6-day break, so it's all off breaks. So a 7-day break or 8-day break. 8-day break, you can have a drink. Like you can go out and have a bit of time, but you got a 2 o'clock curfew or something like that. This is at Port. And then 7-day, you could have a couple of drinks over dinner. 6-day, nothing.
Yeah.
So it's just that recovery time.
Yeah.
Because the alcohol obviously slows your recovery down. So if you got 8 days, you got more days to recover. And so that was what it was built off. And towards the end, like most blokes, I mean, towards the end of my career, I didn't really drink at all, like because it was too hard.
Yeah.
And you feel every little bit of it, and it was too hard to try and still compete and be good enough when you're on. I'm like, I finished when I was 34, so and it's like
it's different when you're younger.
Exactly.
That's true.
But then I was on the Gold Coast and I was drinking every weekend, carrying on every weekend,
and probably training the next day fine.
Training, rocking up Monday, we'd have recovery on Sunday, rocking up a little bit earlier, so wash the down the beach, and then Monday, same. Then we go out Sunday night, and we'd because Sundays were the best on the Gold Coast. So then we'd start Mondays at the pool. So you get there a little bit early too, have a little bit of a wash the piss off you, and then you're sweet, and then you start the week like, no, I'm not doing that again. The weather through winter on the Gold Coast is the best. Like you can still swim, you can still do everything. Yeah. Wednesday comes around, like right on boards. I
remember these days myself.
Win or loss on the Gold Coast, we played 145 like most Saturdays.
Yep.
Right. So it's like
it's meant to be.
It's meant to be. You get your mates to come in and have pre-drinks and watch the game and stuff like that, and then pick you up, take you out,
and especially if you slot a few in the game as well. You feel like $1 million.
Feeling pretty good about yourself. But
so even though the team was not necessarily winning, you were winning every week.
I made sure of it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's probably some of the things that I could have. I definitely should have been better at, but yeah.
You also lived too.
I did.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Probably a little bit too good, to be honest. But no, it's and I don't know moderation, so and that's why I sort of stopped drinking at the moment.
Just before we go into the next bit, which we'll talk about, like the life of an AFL player, what the week looks like. I want to touch on that because that's something that I don't know if you're the same. I'm very much that way. I'm an all or nothing guy.
Yeah.
I'm 100% or I'm not. And in some things in life, it's a big advantage. And then in other areas, it can catch you out a little bit. Same as like I did 12 months last year, no drinking. Easiest thing I've done. But then when there's an event, you're around good people, it's very tempting. You know, you might have 3 drinks and think, wow, how good do I feel off 3? Imagine how I feel off 10. And then it's like send mode. And I think probably a lot of people at the top of their game have that all or nothing mindset because they know when it's go, they're all in on their sport or their business or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think so too. I think it's the place that puts you in a position where it's kind of like, I can, like, especially when you are in that place where you have that mindset of goal setting and achieving your goals as well too. Yeah. It becomes like a normal thing. It's like, for instance, before the expo, we did a mini car. It would have been all or nothing with that. Do you know what I mean? You've got those goals and you're like, I have to look good. I have to come in like strong. So it's, I don't know, like the all or nothing bit is awesome, but also sometimes I pull back a bit and I'm like, I need a bit of balance as well too. I need to live my life as well too. In that aspect, but I wouldn't do that when I have a big goal. It's kind of like me saying I want to be an elite athlete, but I want to train half hours and like get there. Like,
well, that's it. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Exactly,
like, that's
100%.
And and like I find like it's like you're on. I'm either on or off, and like I'm. Like if I'm drinking, I'm 100% in drinking. And
you're just a committed guy, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. And I did 2 months last year, no drinking, and it was the best I've felt in years. And then we were playing footy finals, and then I started sort of drinking again, and then it ended up being like 6 months of just constantly drinking, constantly. And then I wasn't getting shit done and fall into other bad habits. And I sort of, wasn't really too happy with myself, and I had shit I needed to do, but I wasn't doing it, putting it off, and it just, so it was the easy. It's always the easiest and simplest thing that you know what the problem is and what it is, and so I just turn it off.
Yeah, that's cool.
And trying to keep it off, and I'm not looking for it or anything like that. I'm not saying like I'm an alcoholic or anything like that, but I just say I know it's not good for me, and I know it's not good for my brain.
I think it's just that awareness as well too. Like you're aware that like this is how I am when I'm drinking, and this is how I am when I'm not, and I'm like, and I'm committed. I know I get shit done. Like in that time as well. And that's, I think it's also a very important aspect for people to understand. Like, okay, these are my goals. This is what I want to achieve as well. I can't be like, if I'm going to do it, I'm putting everything to it. And then, if you want to relax and have a good time as well, you know that, but you also know the cost of it.
Yes,
too.
And that's it. And I know there is moderation and trying to have a relationship with alcohol or whatever it is in your life. At the moment it's just not there for me. And with the football side of things and sort of not being that footballer anymore as well, and trying to work out where I am, I guess, and what's next for me. And I got my YouTube and all the cars and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, it's like, but what, which was my passion when I was playing football, but now it's like my sort of everything. And it's like, it sort of doesn't give me the same purpose that that it used to give me, whether that's just my brain at the moment and because I still love doing it. But it's just sort of finding that happy medium, which I've never really been able to sort of do, where it's all like that's all or nothing sort of thing. So just working it out, I guess. And the only thing I'm really consistent at the moment is actually training. So
let's jump forward a little bit, because we'll come back to some of these big things about what a normal week looks like and game day we want to find out about. Let's go to this identity shift side of things where you're saying, like, obviously when you hung up the boots professionally, how did you find that mentally? Because when we've had injuries in bodybuilding, I know it's not to the same extent, but sometimes when your everything gets maybe taken away from you or by choice we give it up, you can feel quite lost.
Yeah.
And how did you go with that part of things? Like, obviously you're still playing. We had a chat off there, but
it was sort of, it's definitely tough. Still is. It's still to a point where it's like, you just sort of end up looking for like, what's the next thing? And you have a brain that's sort of hypermobile about what you're doing. And I'm an overthinker. And so I probably procrastinate a lot and even about sort of past stuff and sort of look to the future about what's going on. But worry about it. But I struggled big time. And that was another thing. I just fell into sort of drinking, going out every weekend and sort of trying to numb the pain of like what was going on. I wanted to keep playing.
Yeah.
But they said there sort of wasn't a spot for me. They wanted to try play the younger boys, which is fair enough. I didn't have the greatest year, but I knew I would have put everything into it to sort of give myself the best chance to actually perform. And I spoke with Kenny the following year, and he said, I protected you. And I said, bullshit. And I said, and he goes, no, you would have played every game. And I said, yeah, fucking oath we would have, and we would have won more games.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my mindset and what that is. But yeah, I wanted to play on again, have another year, but it didn't work out. And and I sort of spiraled after that, and was drinking, carrying on, and a relationship fell apart as well, and then and then just sort of like that's when I sort of after you feel like you hit rock bottom and all that sort of stuff, and what am I now, and like who am I, and then I just carried on for a little bit too long, and then ended up stopped drinking and trained, and that's like the only thing that sort of really sort of kept me in a decent space is me training, me working out, and also I have to do that because my body's so shot that if I stop, I've got decrepit discs in my neck that sort of go, and then my whole left side of my body sort of goes real numb. So I've got to keep moving. I've worked that out that I just keep moving.
Because I was gonna ask like what got you, because you had a really big low points in your life. Like what started to get you up? Did you get up slowly, or did you just have a big mindset switch and be like, I'm getting up today, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be moving? Or was it kind of like a gradual shift?
I think it was like I had one stage through my career, like you talk about the sort of mindset about getting up, and I broke my leg in 2018. And then you had another relationship fail, and then that piles on. And I had the surgery, fixed the leg, fixed the ankle, and I was 10 weeks post, started running and then couldn't run. I'd run one day, couldn't run, and then sort of they were telling me you should be able to do this or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, well, I can't. And then so you get pretty low, and then so don't know if I'll be able to play football again, and all that sort of stuff. And then I was antidepressants and taking a handful of pills every morning, and then not being a great teammate to my teammates either. I was a miserable bastard because antidepressants numb me, so I didn't give a fuck about anyone. I just I was just going to training, going home, didn't really care, wasn't playing. And then when I was playing, wasn't playing the best football, wasn't really a great person. And and then it took sort of a fairly bad turn when I just pulled myself off everything, and then wasn't really happy. So then I was looking for a way out basically, but obviously didn't happen. And then just turned, it was like a switch. But it took a long time to get me there. And then I just turned my attention to other people and tried to make their life better, and tried to be a better person because I wasn't being a great person. So, and then that was similar to sort of like where I'm at now. I'm trying to be a better human, and trying to, and I don't really want my family to worry about me. So, which I feel like being a middle child, you can be that, sort of in between, and I feel like I've always been that sort of worry for my parents, and what I've because of the things I've done, and sort of who I am, I guess, and being that on or off person, and so I just want to be a stable human and be able to make them proud and sort of move forward.
I'm sure they're very proud, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's a couple of thank you for opening up, mate. Really appreciate your transparency.
No, it's all right. It's just
I actually heard something the other day, and it was like, when you've reached rock bottom in life, it's actually a great foundation to build from.
I think so too.
And when you think of it like that, there is only up. And we had Nick Jones on last week, and he actually said something very similar. And I guess what helped him come out of that hole was with health and fitness and training and the gym. And so for anyone out there that's going through some battles, like you're not alone. And I think one of the best things you can do is move your body. It's amazing how much more clarity you've got on situations when I've been the same when I've had some really dark moments, and you tend to think about things emotionally, not logically. And then if you just get in, whether it's you go for a walk, you go for a run, you go to the gym, you do some martial arts, I promise you will think about things with so much more clarity when you have those endorphins going.
I agree, man. Like I can relate to that, and I know so many people that could as well. Another thing I really loved what Charlie said was he also started focusing on making other people's lives better, because sometimes that gratification, how you feel like from that is crazy. There's no better feeling.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If you're ever feeling rubbish or shit house, go do something nice for someone else.
It will change you.
Yeah. Man, that's powerful. Honestly, thank you for that, man.
No, thank you.
That's all right. I mean, it's just like I sort of joke about it, like why, like, geez, people say to me, geez, you're looking fit. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm sort of mentally unstable, and the only thing that keeps me stable is working out. So I work out 3 times a day.
We probably all are. Sometimes I get a twitch, man.
I know, right?
If I'm being from the gym for a few days.
I was just like, well, it's probably because I'm a little bit mental fragile at the moment. The only thing that helps me sleep is destroying myself. So when I put my head on the pillow, I actually have nothing to think about.
Yeah.
So that's why I sort of am the way I am, I guess.
But also, like, I think there's, when we talk about like everything you've gone through, I could imagine there'd be a lot of blokes in the AFL that are going through similar things. Like, even I was thinking about identity this morning when I was thinking about the show. And another thing is like mums, for example. When mums have their kids move out of home, they often really struggle because that becomes their identity of being a mother. And then all of a sudden, the thing that you think you're here for kind of is taken away, or you have to find your feet again.
Yeah.
Like it can be for anyone out there, if you've been in a certain job role for so long and then you change jobs, or we go through these moments in our life where we've got to find our feet. And I think like what Charlie said, if there's a lot of instability in your life, try and find some stability.
Yeah.
So think about the controllables. Maybe it's your training. Yeah. Maybe it's doing something for someone else. So man, powerful stuff.
No, that's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna benefit from this.
100%, I am,
because it's related. Well, I am already, and it's like relatability in life. The thing that like it happens. Yeah, it's gonna happen to 90% of people.
Mate, life isn't perfect, and when we see people at the top of their game, we just think it's rainbows and butterflies. And we can often think how bad our life is compared to theirs. And I always say people often want to be famous, but I couldn't think of anything worse. Like, you imagine someone like Justin Bieber. His sense of normality would not exist.
True.
He can't even go out and get a coffee.
Yeah.
True.
And like, being so young as well, he's always had that. So it's
cameras on you, being judged all the time. And even for yourself, like you mentioned that if you'd go out and have a beer, like people are judging you. And so like, sometimes your sense of reality can be, mate, if you're kicking goals, if you're getting those goals, get the yeast into it.
Exactly.
But like we're in a very judgmental society nowadays. And guys, no one's perfect. Yeah. So next time you're thinking about judging someone, just like, what do they say? Before you take a walk a mile in their shoes before you start judging them. And so, some powerful stuff there, man. Now, back to, if we rewind, I'm really interested to hear about like a normal week for you as an AFL footy player. Let's rewind the clock a couple of seasons ago. What does it look like Monday through to game day?
Yeah, okay. So basically Mondays after you've played on the weekend. So if it's a Saturday game, play on Monday, you have like a light recovery run, bit of gym, go through review, and then you do a bit of touch and stuff like that as well. So there's rotations, gym, mobility, and then you have recovery after, all that sort of stuff. Yep. So, but yeah, it was probably a half day, or depending on what meetings and stuff we have, it'd be a full day sort of thing as well. Or if you win or loss, sometimes you win well, but she's a half day, you're in and out, thinking about all the good things
Mondays
you've done,
are great,
and then you're out, you lose, bad. She's a long day.
Yeah.
So,
double shot coffee that.
Yeah, exactly. So you go through, you go through everything, and which you still do, win or loss, but and then sort of Tuesday, that's, I can't even remember. It's been a while, so thinking about the days, but it'd be Tuesday would be another sort of half day sort of thing. Monday would be a full day. And Tuesday would be a half day, getting into a little bit more mobility and then we'd have, so just getting the body moving and more gym. Then Wednesdays would be a full training session.
Like a harder one?
Yeah, so your main sort of training session during the week for in season. And then from there, so which is like, I'd always like to be there first towards the end of my career. So like and because it took me so long to warm up as well. So I'd go and have a 10-minute ice bath just up to me, up to my hips. And
which is about 5 foot. That's my height. Standard ice bath for me.
And then I'd sit in the hots for about 10 as well. And then I'd dry off and then go get strapped, get ready. And then, so then training's about 2 hours. We have a meeting before that to go through training, go through what we're going to be practicing. And then come back, go out and train that, and then come in, ice baths and start recovery again, have some lunch, go out, have lunch, or sometimes they have lunch there, and then we get into gym and rotation. So you'd have your gym session, you have your rotation of going through more vision and stuff like that, so another meeting, or you'd have skills. So you'd go out to the indoor area or outside and you'd do some light touch or handball games and stuff like that. And then, so by those rotations, you're done by like 5.
That's a pretty full day though.
Yeah, that's
something like that. Yeah,
literally hectic.
Yeah, and then most of the time you'd probably do a little bit more recovery after all that sort of stuff's done as well.
Yeah, and then Thursday, Friday, you're tapering off.
Day off.
Yep.
Thursday's off, and then Friday's a captain's run, which is basically go and have a kick around, get the body moving again, and which lasts for about an hour, 2 hours.
Yep.
With like meetings and going through the game structures and what you're going to do, and then basically you're out. So start at like 9 and then you're done by 10:30, 11 or 11:30, something like that. Go out and most of the boys will go have breakfast together and then get ready for the game, fuel up that night, and then come in for game day.
And what would you usually eat like before the game day?
Yeah, so I would always sort of normally try and fast to about 1 o'clock, even when I was training.
Yeah.
And but then on game day, I'd have breakfast after training, so I'd have something to eat pretty early in the day, and then
and what are you eating?
Oh, like bacon and eggs and mainly
fuel,
that sort of stuff. Yeah, so bacon and egg
fuel.
sandwich and just all that, and then at night I'll pizza and pasta or just a big bowl of pasta.
This is on the Friday, yeah?
This is on a Friday night before a game, pizza
Fuel
and pasta.
up.
Just eat
especially for a guy of your size.
pizza,
It's
eat
calories.
as much. Eat as much as
you
I
need
like.
the
as
And
you
you're
can.
pumping the fluids in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hydrolytes, Gatorades, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I sort of moved away from like Gatorades and all that sort of stuff towards the end of my career and just sort of had like your hydrolytes and just drank like a Yeti bottle of like just hydrolytes because it was more, it's what you want. It's not less sugar and all that sort of stuff. So, and then you wake up in the morning, I'd go and, what was my breakfast? Yeah, either breakfast would be like eggs on toast or something like that. I think I moved to like a ham cheese toasty and then depending on lunch, chicken sandwich if it was a night game. But my best game to play is 140 on a Saturday.
That's your favourite? Yes. Yep. Got you to hydrate afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just pre-hydration.
Afterwards. And but no, and because then you'd wake up, you'd have breakfast, and you go straight to the game, and then you're
Are you using coffee or anything pre-game, or what's your ritual?
Black coffee. Well, I am now. I used to just have like double shot lattes.
Yep.
But caffeine tablets. So when I get there, I like caffeine and salt tablets.
Yep.
But other than that, like,
what was your sweet spot for caffeine?
No, just coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
so maybe a couple 100 milligrams. Maybe.
Yeah, something like that. I like we had a dietitian there, she would just be like, "How many do you want?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Handing out pills.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like a few nice days actually. No.
We're caffeine addicts.
And I have like a big table of like music bars, lollies, pretzels, and sort of just a heap of stuff, some crackers and all that. And
so you're keeping it pretty light.
Yeah, I try to get in there and like it's hard not to walk past the lolly.
Lollies.
Yeah.
Fast
that's a weakness, bro. That's a weakness.
Yeah.
I either avoid them or have them because once I start, doesn't stop.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, it's us. Like with the 100% in or 100%
Yeah,
out.
that's the
true.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm exactly the same when it's like
Just
you have a little bit, and then it'll throw my whole week out.
Did you have a pre-game meal? Were you superstitious about anything? Same underwear?
No,
Any superstitions?
like it's funny. Like you'd have games where you played really well, like say kick 6 goals
Yep.
and had 20 touches or something like that, and I'm like, all right, what do I had those jocks on?
Yeah.
These socks on, I wore these boots.
How did I style my beard that day?
Exactly. Yeah. And you do that, but it doesn't matter.
What about your pump up song? Was there like a song that
Yes.
you'd listen to before?
Towards the end of career, I didn't really have I'd always loved listening to music on the way in and all that sort of stuff. But I used to have Kaleo Way Down We Go.
Way down. we go.
Just because I've always loved those slow building
Yep.
songs, and it would like keep me in a calm, and then and then it just like
Then
gets going, and then like, all right, we're good. Take the ear pods out,
Yeah.
and then we're running out.
Good.
Are
That's
all the
interesting.
lads all individually? Like, because
Some are,
Yeah.
some don't.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's just a sort of preference from someone, but like they take our phones when we walk in.
Yeah.
So they take our phones and lock them up because like betting scandals and all this other bullshit.
Oh,
so,
right.
whether that's happened,
And I guess
or
to
not.
get focused as well.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But like, and so like you'd either have to have your music on your watch or whatever
Well, the
like that.
little
And,
iPods.
yeah.
The iPod Touch.
The iPod Shuffle or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, man. Wired headphones. And you go to do a set of dumbbells, it would almost come out. And,
Yeah, exactly. So
see, this younger generation don't know what we've been through.
No, the CD Walkman.
the
CD Walkmans.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Used
dude.
to have that in like the backpack at school. And
You
the
do need a
little
backpack for it.
Yes. Oh, my God.
The backpacks that had the cord hole hanging
Out
out,
the
of
top.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
out the top.
Oh,
So
man.
you were cool
Wow.
when you had one of those
This is
bags.
that's what I was going to say.
This
Oh,
is getting
man.
nostalgic. Because, like, you see the NFL change rooms and they're all doing, like, the brothers are all doing their, like, they've got their R&B or their Drake on. Whereas I'm sensing this is a bit more, people knew what would get them in the zone, so it was a bit more individual. Like,
Definitely. And like before games, like it is pure masturbation for the high performance people.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's a joke.
I was going to say, actually, there's studies. If you hold off and don't do that before the game, your strength can actually
Pretty
go
good.
up. Yeah. Abstain.
Wait, is that actually true?
Yeah. No, it was. We basically have like 4 warm-ups before we even sort of like do anything, before we play. And like, I mean, towards the end of my career, I needed to, like, I'd get in there early and I'd get strapped up pretty much straight away and run straight out on the ground and get my first couple of wins out of the way. And Chad Corns would come out and he'd kick me the footy and we'd do some marking just to get the shit from the day out.
Yeah.
And then I'd come back in and then we'd have a little bit of time, have a stretch. Then we'd start stretching and then we go in for a meeting and then come back out, go out, have our first on-ground warm-up. That's when you
That's a lot, man.
take the caffeine and salt tablets. And then so you have your first on-ground warm-up, 10, 15 minutes, come back in, last sort of address. So like we used to put our jumpers on all together, stand around, captain would address us, and then we'd put our jumpers on, go back down and we'd do another warm-up, kicking, handballing, tackling.
I'm getting pretty fatigued at this stage.
And then Ken would talk to us one more time, and then we'd walk out.
Yeah.
And then we'd have another on-ground warm-up.
Far out.
And so like more kicking, more running and all that sort of stuff. And then
It's crazy.
and then if there was it was Anzac Day or anything like that, we'd have national anthem, you'd ceremonies and all that sort of stuff. And then you'd have like another little run.
Yeah.
And then the coin toss and then the song and then you go out and play.
Yeah.
Where I was used to, like, in Cairns, when I play football, I'd be sitting on the couch having a box of shapes and a can of Coke. And Mum would be like, right, we got to go. Put my shorts on, my boots, my socks on, pull my shorts over the top, roll in, jumper on, run out,
And
play.
kick 6.
Yeah. So I was like, bring back this. And we played our trial game the other day up at Ironbank, which is just behind my house.
Yeah.
I think you know the road.
Yeah. There's a lot of burnt rubber.
Yeah, burnt rubber on that road.
Good viewing spot.
Yeah, exactly. And we were playing at 5:30. It got there at 5, got taped up, ran out, and we started playing. And I was like, this is what football's about. You know?
Like, I imagine just even trying to stay mentally in the zone for that period of time would be challenging.
That would be. So it takes a lot of focus, eh?
Yeah. Oh, and the whole time it's a mental battle with yourself, basically,
Yeah.
like trying to try and overplay the game, and it's worse when you get older because you're like, geez, I hope I can actually still do this, or hopefully I get a touch tonight, you know.
Yeah.
And so like you're just battling yourself the whole time. So that's why you're just like chomping at the bit. You just want to get out there and play. But you can't do that because then you're burning too much energy,
Your
and then you
adrenal glands are going
and end up sort of killing yourself before the game even starts.
Yeah,
Wow.
because that's like when we talk about like the peak arousal curve. It's you don't want to be too hyped up that you then fatigue, but also you probably don't want to be too mellow going out there. And you got being centre half forward, you've got someone trying to muscle you.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, it's like you sort of work it out when you sort of get towards like after playing for so long, you work out what works and what doesn't work and what you need to do and go from there, but still doesn't, like every game's different and sort of I don't think I was ever like even 80% fit every time I sort of came in there with my body and stuff like that. So you're always like, geez, I hope I get through this game.
Yeah,
it's always in your head but as soon as that siren goes, it's all gone.
Yeah.
And it's like righto,
It's like instinct,
let's
right?
fucking go. You
And
know?
how do you deal with like the pressure from like the audience because that's a big thing as well.
Yeah, they're watching every move, and
Especially when
they're
you
all
play no
experts,
way.
as you know.
They are.
Couch coaches.
They are, absolutely. It's like I said, once the ball sort of gets going, it's pretty good. But it's like there's a lot of pressure there. Like when I guess when you're having a set shot and all that sort of stuff, and like when you actually get the time to take your mark and after like wrestling someone or running and up and down, and like people think that's just our job is to kick goals and all that. Like why are we missing so many? It's like, well, we're probably one of the most aerobic sports going around. Have to be, up like back in the day where the full forward used to sit at home and could be 120 kilos and not have to run that much.
Plugger, who else was back in that era? There was
Dunstall.
Yes,
all those guys, and like it's a different game
Darren
altogether.
Garvin.
So like I had to like as a key forward, full forward is 200 centimeters. You have to be up the ground to defend, help defend, and then get back and be that option when you get back. So. Not giving myself any excuses, but like it was tough to like try and you have 30 seconds to bring the calm back. So you're working through your routine a lot of times in your head at training, but you can't sort of emulate the pressure with 50,000 people there screaming at you, whether it's your team or it's your home game or someone else's. It's to try and emulate that is near impossible. So, and if you miss your first one, the second one's always harder. So it's
the pressure.
and that's sort of like what you got to try and train and what you try and deal with there each weekend.
How do you even deal with that? Like if you were going through something, like. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot. It's already I try the clubs do a heap of work around this sort of stuff and your mindset and all that sort of stuff. Probably a little bit too much, to be honest. Where it should be just go out and play and then what will be, and work. And as long as you're working on it, then you've got your routine. Go back to your routine and do that. And that's sort of what I came to. Where I ended up like. Focusing on like a blade of grass just to try and reset my mind to like when I'd get to the end of my walk, like where I'd walk back to and I'd set myself and I'd just be like, I'd pick a piece of grass out and then I'd be like, righto, I'm sweet. And then I'd take my 4 steps and then start running until I'm comfortable, then kick. And I'd line my right foot, my right shoulder up at the right goalpost and then go from there.
Wow. That's the secret right there. We could have made it, man.
I don't think it's a secret. It didn't work that well for me. It did. I mean, I think I was in the top 1% for 0 to 200 goals in accuracy. And then I got to Port and she sort of fell off a little bit. So
so it works for a bit. So
that is so interesting. I think what stood out to me then was when you said that almost maybe too much mindset stuff. And I think this is kind of like the personal development journey. If you do too much of it, you start finding things wrong with you. Like it can be a bit of a rabbit hole sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with that sort of stuff, I think you just got to strip it back a little bit and just stick to the basics. And like I think football's a pretty simple game, and it's definitely very hard. But I think the basics are what get you the wins and all that stuff. So it's not the sort of over the top stuff that you know, like this club's going to somewhere else to go train, or this club's doing this leadership group thing or anything like that. I think it's just having a group of lads that have been together for a period of time or have bonded together, go out and have a few beers together and know their structure, buy into their structure, and can rely on each other like they know what they're going to do each week. And I think that's the key to having a good side. And obviously you're going to need to have a good game plan and the way it works, and you've got to have 100% buy-in from the team. But
I love that, the camaraderie, the community,
that's the only thing.
Yeah.
I think you look at the teams that have won premierships in the last few years, everyone's looking for like, what's the thing? And I said, that group's been together for a while.
Same, isn't it?
And they've found a system that works for them, and they look like they actually care about each other and want to win for each other and will stand up for each other. And
that's powerful.
And I think that's that. Well, that's my opinion.
I believe so. Like even non-football related, like just having like good people around you can make a difference in life. Like can propel you like really forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even you see in the NBA when they have these all-star matches,
you've
got so many of these individuals coming together. Collectively, often they don't do that well because
exactly.
That's true.
They don't have that.
That's a good example.
Yeah,
actually.
and the NBA is an absolute joke. Like you watch it and it's just like I know they play a lot of games and all that sort of stuff, but it is an individual sport. You wouldn't know, like you know the key players, like one or two key players on a team, but then the rest of them who are role players who are pivotal to those teams, and the only reason they're winning is because they play their roles and they allow homeboy to go fucking do whatever he does. But I think then they need to be more of an even spread. I mean, look at who OKC won last year.
Yeah,
is it OKC? Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, man.
And they won last year, and I thought they were a very even spread team that were everyone was playing a role.
Makes the dream work.
Exactly. So. But anyway.
I wanted to have a little bit of fun, right?
All right.
Kwame and I were having a bit of a laugh about this. But let's just imagine, right, for a second, you are the playing coach captain. We'll call it Port Adelaide Footy Club. You're down to the last two draft picks, which happen to be yours truly.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what positions do you see us playing and perhaps why?
Yeah, okay.
You can roast us, man.
Yeah, go hard.
All right. Well, I think you'd be a nice forward pocket.
I knew it was going to be pocket. We make up numbers.
Yeah.
We make up numbers. Yeah. Forward pocket, I'll take it. You didn't say back pocket.
No.
That's really making up numbers.
No, I think forward pocket, you don't understand how much work you've actually got to do. And I think you've got it in you, mate, to be honest. So you've got to be the connector.
Pocket, yep.
So look,
Right
Darcy,
shoulder, right leg goalpost.
Exactly. So Darcy Byrne-Jones, he works harder than anyone I see on the football field. With the amount of work, your pressure that you're going to have to bring is going to be huge. So if you're going to watch any football this weekend, watch Darcy Byrne-Jones and the way he plays, and that's what I want
I'm
from
pretty
you.
much like him, is what I'm hearing.
Exactly right.
But that might be not what you're saying, but that's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Telling me this all week.
He's sweating for his position.
Yeah. And I reckon you'd be a nice key back.
Ooh,
very, very strong, obviously. Like the size of this bloke, bloody hell. And you'd be a lockdown defender. I don't know, but the only thing is with a backman, you got to be able to use the football these days. So there's no more.
I'll have to work on my skill
work. You're gonna have to work on your skill work. But hey, that's it.
Backman, you are used to coming from behind, so that would suit you well. Yep.
There's my secret. We're gonna have to do a gym session soon, guys.
We will.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Nice.
All right, the next one, Kwame, shoot it at him.
What would you think our biggest weaknesses would be?
In football
or life? Yeah. You can get personal, man.
Go hard.
Reaching the cookie shelf, I know it's the trouble.
Yeah, I reckon your endurance might be up there. Yeah.
I've heard different things.
It depends where, what we got, you know?
I think, I mean, you guys have built very, very well, but you got to be a little bit leaner. And less muscle.
Less muscle. Well, we're going to cardio?
Cardio, yes.
Kwame's dropping his carbs out of tomorrow. Do we have any strengths?
Oh, absolutely. Your strength.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, there's no one's going to be able to push you blokes out of the way. That's for sure.
Hey, we got one thing. And what's the first thing you're fixing with our game?
It'd just be skills. Without even
Just
seeing
the main concept.
yeah, without even seeing any of his skills, and that's what that's what I think. Like I said, football's a basic game. So if you can just get your handballing stuff sorted, then you'll be right.
We know what we're working on. Would you happen to think of a nickname for each of us?
No.
I could be the forward pocket rocket, maybe.
Yeah,
you could
pocket
be
rocket.
gladiator. I don't know.
Yeah,
Gluteus Maximus.
Gluteus Maximus. That's not bad. Sorry, I just bloody nearly knocked the table out.
That's all right. Speaking of strength,
Out of both of us, who looks more coachable?
me first.
Who's more coach? I don't know, boys. I don't think. Yeah,
Kiss me, don't worry.
There's not much luck for us by the sound of it.
Oh my god.
What injury are we doing first?
Hamstrings. Hamstrings.
I reckon so.
Funny story. My dad plays Master Rules, which is
Yep.
footy 35 and over. He's 75 and still kicking.
Oh, right.
Not just alive, but on the footy field.
Yeah,
and it was a few years back. Had a wine tour the day before.
Yep.
Perhaps dehydrated. And he got me to fill in, I think I was 34, so they rounded me up. Mate, I did my hamstring first quarter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sprinting for a ball. Like, I was a forward pocket, about 17. But yeah, I did my hamstring. Oh, this is a good one.
What color boots are we wearing?
You'd be red.
Okay.
Oh, fast.
Yeah,
Yep.
fast.
The flash.
Speedy.
Yeah.
That's what
Flash.
Georgie calls me. 15 seconds.
I reckon. And I reckon, you'd be a blue.
Blue.
Okay, I would have gone pink.
That's actually my favorite color.
Really?
Yeah.
A highlighter blue.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
A strong tone.
Yeah.
Mate, we've got some rapid fire questions
All right.
and then we'll pretty much wrap things up. If there was one trait that every elite athlete must have, what would it be?
It'd have to be the competitiveness and have a bit of mongrel in them. Or like
I like
as
that.
I like
dog-
to say, I
dog
don't know
in
if you can swear on this, a bit of cunt in them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
He said C-A-N-T.
Yeah,
Cunt.
So we'll cut that
Dash
out.
notes. That's right.
I think you can.
French is the
I
language.
think you can there's one thing that you can't coach is someone having a bit of mongrel in them and that competitiveness to go again when someone tells them they've done something wrong or when they've lost.
I like that.
Next
That's
bit.
powerful.
So that's where I see
And
the next generation needs to be.
True, actually. And what separates the good from the great?
I think that the willingness to, when things go against them, they find another level, and regardless of what it is, they just continually get up and keep moving, and regardless of 10 goals up, 10 goals down, or everything's going against you, they're still that same person.
So it's mindset, I guess.
Mindset,
Those top 1%ers.
It's 90 for football or anything. It's played 90% between the brain, between the ears. Sorry,
That's a good point.
That's that mindset.
I think I know the answer to this one now. Hard work or talent?
Yeah, hard work beats talent every time.
Yep. I love that.
And what's the best piece of advice you were ever given?
That I was ever given, shit.
Even it could be before football, even.
It's never that good or it's never that bad.
Oh, I love that. That is true.
Yeah, levels.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I love that. What about the worst advice you've ever followed? On or off the field?
I think we've got a couple of
Saturday
mates.
nights or Monday mornings? Yeah.
We've got a couple of mates that give us some, I don't know about bad advice, but bad choices. No, shit I don't know. One more won't hurt.
Yeah. That can be a beer. That can be if you've done some motocross.
Yeah.
One more lap is normally when you do that.
exactly. Oh, I'm just going to do one more.
Yeah. You don't say that.
Who's your hardest opponent you've ever faced? Like or played with?
There's been a few. Like I used to, like Alex Rance used to play for Richmond. I actually, he was very hard to play on, but I always loved playing against him because he was the best, and I always wanted to play against him, the best play on me. And Alex Pearce from Fremantle, my last few years, where we sort of never really met up when I was sort of going all right, but when I was sort of on the way down. But he was just my height, if not bigger, and just so mobile. And I had trouble with him every time I played. And But then you always have your moments against those sort of players. But you want to play against the best.
Yeah,
And just on that, is there like at the end of it, is it a bit of a gentleman's rule, handshake, what's on the field's on the field?
Oh,
or
yeah.
is there ever just like you've got this sort of like, oh, it's an absolute cricket, and you know next time you're playing them that's there, like we said, the mongrel in you.
Yeah, I think most of them, like, I mean, everyone's a fuckwit till you meet them, right? So it's like, but no, like, yeah, you can. I could always sort of distance myself from the like.
We're okay, man.
Yeah, you guys are good. I met you now, you know. But no, I think I always left everything out in the football field, so it was like I never had, you know, like hate towards them. Or there's questionable things I thought about people, but like I didn't know them like that. So it was like, it's not personal. It's like, but yeah, you'd have moments where like you'd get sort of hit or something like that where you'd lose your mind and you'd want to take their head clean off, and you could do that on a football field. Early days,
used to be able to,
and like you'd get clipped, even like, you know, back in the day when I first started playing, you get smashed, but like that was just like it. You just get up,
mate. Do you remember the brawl? Port Power Grand Final, was it versus Brisbane? Wakeland versus Lynch in the goal square. If you guys haven't seen that YouTube, that was what footy was about. Like honestly, if Lynch actually connected with any of those, sign him up to the UFC.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Like
honestly,
Lynchy was he was part of my management group when I first signed. And,
would you say a mentor, maybe?
Yeah. I never threw hands like that. I remember I've hit someone pretty hard in the chest, but I've never thrown any punches at someone in the head in a football field. Man. But
that was gnarly. What about the most hated preseason test? I imagine in the preseason there was some horrible running, or do they still do the beep test?
No.
Thank God.
No beep test, but there's like, I think the boys do a 2K now, but we used to do 3 1Ks.
Yeah.
And then before that we did 3K, 2K.
I remember the 3K, like the 10-minute was like the golden standard,
and on the Gold Coast we used to do 5 300s. Sprints, and then either before or after that we'd do a 2K on a running track, and that was
your legs
fucking horrible.
Yeah, the lactic from that sort of stuff is gnarly
because they'd want you to sprint the 300s.
Yep.
And then just sprint your first one as hard as you can, and then just try hang on for the next ones.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Disaster.
Yeah. What's the biggest lesson football has ever taught you?
That it's a business, and regardless of like your loyalty and stuff like that you're the commodity of the AFL, and as soon as you're done, you're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it was pretty brutal. The game is very brutal, and it'll break your heart because it doesn't owe you anything as well. So
yeah, and especially a sport like footy, where in our country here in Australia is so competitive. Like most young boys will at least have a footy place in their hand at some stage. So there's always someone coming up, nipping at the heels. That's powerful, man. If you could give one piece of advice for someone looking to chase their dreams, what would it be?
I think just do it. Like jump in, and I have trouble with this as well about what I'm trying to do now. Is like I've got ideas what I want to do, and it's like that procrastination.
Yeah, we all have that. Yep.
It kills sort of like 90% of dreams. So I think like. Or 100% of dreams, I guess. But I think just if that's what you want to do it. Yeah. I mean, like, what's the point?
Yep.
What is the fucking point?
Yeah.
That's true.
Fail fast, but fail forward.
Oh, exactly.
Each time you fail, you course correct,
and you learn from everything that you do as well. Yeah, like it. I mean, if you got no one depending on you, like me, other than the dog, Owen.
Dogs are the best.
No, just jump in and do it. And like, I'm actually starting a sort of buying broker business through my Charlie Dixon.
Good on you, man.
So, and then hopefully sort of move into building cars for people as well. Yeah. So, I'm hopefully launching it next week.
Oh, that's exciting.
And so I just that was what that meeting was this morning.
Good on you, man.
About trying to, like I take the hard part out about buying a car for people.
Okay.
Like if you're looking for, I ask the questions that, a dealer won't. Yeah, sort of thing, or not that I know that they will, but like I'll put you in the best car that's sort of for you, I think.
Oh,
So,
I'll have to
and
come
I
down.
know a
What
lot.
sort of car are we getting Kwame in?
Yeah, what car am I getting?
Oh, mate, I saw you doing all right. You're in a Porsche out there.
But fuel prices are high now,
Yeah.
so you know.
I think
I'll
I'm
have to switch up.
A little Corolla
Yeah.
hybrid.
I'm not big on electric cars. So like as you know, I'm very much a
You need to be able to smell
petrol.
it.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
the hybrids are the next thing. I think they're great.
Yeah, hybrids.
But yeah,
Especially for the female listeners out there. Like,
oh, absolutely.
yeah, and
yeah.
hairdressers and that sort of thing. Great choice.
Yeah.
Give me some petrol for me any day.
So with the launch as well, where can we find like this,
Yeah.
or where can the audience find this as well?
So basically, just through any social media channels, Driving with Dixon.
Driving with Dixon.
It'll
Give
be
it a follow, guys.
hopefully on the
Yeah.
website next week. But yeah, Driving with Dixon. It'll be something around buying with Dixon. So my DWD stuff that I've got, it'll be BWD, and yeah. If you're inquiring about a new car and want to know what's the best thing out there or what's good for you, yeah, shoot me a message and
love that. Yeah.
I'll help out.
And what's your like channels? Like, what's your Instagram?
Yeah, so
YouTube?
my
Is there all this-
personal Instagram is Charlie Dixon, Charlie_Dixon, and then my handles are Driving with Dixon on TikTok, Instagram,
That's
Facebook.
TikTok.
I'm only fresh to TikTok. I haven't been
Oh,
on there
mate,
that long.
Speak with this man here.
I
He
know,
knows.
right? I've seen all his stuff. He's bloody good.
You guys should do a collab.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to.
Absolutely. We'll get you in a car or something, mate.
Oh,
Yeah, mate.
I'm
This
down.
has been,
I'm down.
this honestly has been an awesome chat. For all the listeners out there, there's so many valuable takeaways. Like, we can't thank you enough, man, for
Honestly,
your time.
I've learned a lot even just from this time
Yeah.
as well too. So
Yeah, I
that's
know
really
that I've still got a chance. A 36-year-old recruit, forward pocket in my red
I'm in the
boots.
back, you know, with my blue.
Yeah, nah, this has been awesome, man. Guys, give him a follow. Check out Driving with Dixon. And just on that, mate, how important is it following your passion? Because you said,
Yeah.
like, you know, the cars was something that was always a big motivator for you and you
Yeah.
loved. Tell us a little bit more about that. I know we could do a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
What's the importance of following your passion?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you need to have passions in life. Otherwise, what's the point? You're not supposed to go and work and just, work for the hell of it. You want to do work to something that
Don't live
gives
to
you,
work to
yeah,
live.
exactly, and gives yourself some opportunity to enjoy life, and because that's what it's about. And I think the car stuff for me is like, even though I'm struggling with it at the moment because it's just seems to be work.
Yep.
But at the same time, I still love getting in my car and driving
love
it,
that,
and I still love still love building them. It's just the filming side that I sort of probably struggle with more, and being on social media as much as I am, and but it's sort of what I've built at the moment. But yeah, I think you gotta find something, find something that gives you actual joy and takes you back to being a kid, I guess, as well.
That's
and what
true.
you look,
Yeah.
What I always
We
used to
forget
look.
players, adults, really,
True.
Yeah,
don't we?
That's true.
exactly. And I've got a lot of mates who helped me get back into that sort of space as well. As you know, most of them as well. We're riding dirt bikes, riding mountain bikes, driving cars, racing cars, and it brings back to simpler times when you were just a
it's
kid
true.
out there having a run around and trying to have fun.
Mate, absolute pleasure.
No, thank you,
Ladies and
guys.
gentlemen, Charlie Dixon,
Thank
check
you
him
so
out.
much.
Give him a
brother.
follow.
Yeah.
Episode number 10. That was amazing. Any guests you guys want to see, comment below. We'll try and get them on. We'll try and work on Justin Bieber as well.
Yeah.
But thanks again for listening in, and we'll see you on the next side. Let's go.
We're out.
Let's go.
Sweet.